Actually, Lucy was here, and she got on live stream fails because she was talking about NFTs on my roommate's stream.
Live stream fail?
Yes, you were on live stream fails, Lucy.
Why didn't you guys tell me?
You're famous, Lucy. You're
famous.
you're famous.
How you pulled it off.
All right, what's up, guys? I'm back. It's Justin, back with another very brand new podcast. We're bringing it to you live with some new friends. I've got Lucy Guo, who is a friend of mine from Y Combinator. I'm an investor in her fund, Backend Capital. She's an entrepreneur, co-founder of Scale, a investor, and basically the coolest person I know in tech.
You forgot that
I'm
I
trying
have
to,
Olympic qualifying times on a treadmill. I'm also an athlete.
Oh my God. Yeah, you post on Instagram, you do like 3 berries back to back the other day. Is that right?
Yeah, I did.
I used to not
almost,
believe her, and then I did a few workout classes with her, and it was very intimidating.
Yeah, and Minx went too.
That.
It was like, what the hell?
Yeah, my roommate as well.
Wait, I remember watching a video. You posted a video of you doing like 3 hours of workout. It was just a continuous video of you working, like doing. Were you deadlifting or something, or like a kettlebell swing or something?
I was doing a 3-hour EMOM. So every minute on the minute, it was like 10 burpees, then like 20 snatches or something, then something else. I don't know, but it was like nonstop 3 hours, like no break.
And to rub
That's
salt
intense.
in the wound for people who are feeling less fit right now, Lucy also needs less sleep than regular people. She can sleep like 4 hours a day and be fine on top of working out for 3 hours. So it's honestly just not fair for the rest of us.
It's not fair. You
I
got
overdose on
proteins.
Celsius and C4 though, but I do think I got great genetics. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
That's incredible. I'm jealous, but we can't have it all. And then our second host or third host is my favorite streamer.
Yes!
My favorite streamer's favorite streamer.
Yes.
My favorite streamer
on
too.
Twitch.
The only streamer
Heck yeah.
I watch, but my favorite streamer. Yes. I literally
Alexander
got a Twitch account
Cortez.
for you.
I appreciate
Yes.
it. That's real support.
Lucy, did you sub though?
I
She
did,
gifted
and I
subs,
gifted.
too.
I gifted like 50 subs. Was it? I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, Justin, where are
Nice.
your gifted subs?
Okay,
I'm a
I'll
good
do it.
I'm just
friend.
kidding.
No, I'll have to
I'm
do
just
it.
kidding.
Amazing. So I convinced these two to join me for this. I like doing the podcast so much. We're trying something new. I want to make it, more relevant, more fun. And so I found like 2 fun friends. So, and we're also all part of the long hair gang, which I love. I think Lucy has the best hair right now, though.
She does.
Oh,
She does.
thank you.
The
Yeah, I went
blonde looks
blonde.
great.
Yeah, some would say this is
Yeah.
my what do they call those Asians? ABG phase, but yeah.
Wait, what does ABG stand for? I've never heard
don't
that.
Asian
know.
baby
What
girl. Wait,
Asian
how am I
baby
the only
girl.
one who knows this?
Oh, I didn't know this.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, and so we're talking about. Sorry, before we started, we were talking about your new apartment, Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
You moved into a new apartment in Miami, or you bought a condo in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Like, tell us about it. It's pretty fresh, right?
Yeah, I mean it's nice. I'll lift up the camera so you can see the view. So this is Miami, and this is why everyone should move to Miami. I don't know if you can see it. But
Yeah, we can see it.
No, it's incredible. My HOA hates me right now because I hired a lemur and I guess had 120 hackathon guests over. So I got this like cease and desist letter from the HOA where they're like, you did not warn the staff that you were gonna have people over and there were 120 people in your unit at once and you brought wild animals without our permission.
Amazing. Are you gonna get evicted? They can't evict you. You own it. So you're in a good spot.
I don't really know the rules here, but I think HOA can only charge you $1,000 a year for mishaps, and I don't think they're dumb enough to sue me because they run out of money. So I think I'm good.
Nice. Nice.
The crazy Lucy marketing for the building.
Okay, honestly,
Good
after I bought my
marketing.
no, so literally after I bought my unit, like literally right away, 3 units sold, and those units were on the market for like hundreds of days.
So
And then the
you
unit
is it
next to
because
mine
you
sold for like 500K more or so than mine.
so you're a tastemaker, or you like said you broke the dam on this building,
Yeah.
but it's
I
all
brought
right,
it
and you're
free
saying
press.
wait, do people like was it reported that you moved in this building?
Literally, they put my unit number on it. And then I got flowers from someone on the internet.
Oh, are you not worried about your address being so public?
I'm very happy that the building staff is like, it's a very secure building. But no, like, I think if I bought a house, I would probably need a higher security guard if that got leaked.
Yeah, I've had people show up at my house before. It's not cool. Like
It's
you know,
really,
you
yeah.
like definitely want to. And I mean, I can't imagine like the people who want to show up at my house are like, "Hey, can you look at my pitch deck?" You know, like the people who are showing up at your guys' houses are gonna be like way more obnoxious.
No, I was gonna say I've never had anybody show up at my house yet, which is great because I've been a public
Knock
figure
on
for a
wood.
while. Yeah, let's knock on wood. And I have paid for services to, like erase my address from online, and I've moved so much, so I think that has some role in it, but it feels inevitable for any kind of public
Yeah.
figure.
Sorry, so I had a friend that married to a very A-list celebrity, and he was telling me like, "Hey, it could be worse, Lucy. Like the other day, someone showed up to our place with a knife because they all
Oh
want to kill
shit.
him.
That's
I think for being married to this A-list celebrity."
oh my god.
Yeah, that
That's
sounds
terrible.
terrifying.
Yeah.
So the people who are showing up at your house, Lucy, they're trying to, or they're not showing up. They're sending flowers, but they're all trying to just. Are they trying to get a date, or
I think so. And then I also got an Instagram DM from someone saying like, "Hey, I'm downstairs in the lobby at your building," and I'm like,
Oh my god, that's sketch.
"Yeah,
That's fucked up.
Well,
All right,
Lucy,
well-
you can afford security. Maybe get one guy to just stand outside the door.
I mean, that's why I'm in an apartment. But no, if I did move
Yeah.
into like a single family house, I'd probably get security."
Yeah, that's fair. And Justin,
All
you're
right, and
moving
Alex, you
recently too, right? You're moving to LA?
Yeah, so I'm coming down to LA. I'm not going to tell people where my house is.
Yep.
It is a single family home, so like I'm definitely not, it's on the down low. But I'm moving to somewhere in LA. I'm not even going to tell people the neighborhood.
Good,
My wife
good.
is so paranoid. She like doesn't want people to know the city we live in. But I think LA is big enough that like people aren't gonna find me. I mean, if they find me, they're just gonna be like, "Hey, can you listen to the pitch for my startup or whatever?" But yeah, I'm moving down, so I'll be your neighbor. And because you just moved, right? How was the move?
Yeah, I'm finally
talk
getting
about it?
adjusted to LA. Yeah, go ahead, Lucy. Lucy's actually been to the place. Go ahead.
Her house is haunted. So they
It
had
is not
they got-
haunted.
Or she claims it's haunted. They all claim it's haunted, but they were trying to release
I don't
the
believe in
spirit from the
ghosts.
music box. Okay, she was not the one trying to release the spirit from the music box.
My
but
roommates think it's
someone was.
haunted.
Yeah, and now
You gotta tell us the story now. Like,
Well, no,
like what was the?
There was a night of what we say haunting where everybody was in their bedroom and we were in a group chat, and all of a sudden all the lights started flickering. The Alexa started going off at the same time in different rooms. The lights were flickering to a certain pattern, but there's a lot of electrical outages here, so that's probably why. But then my sister heard some weird noises and footsteps. I heard some things, my roommates heard some things, and apparently we were all in our rooms. But it's also like an old creaky house, but it was a little bit creepy. Yeah. And we've had people come in here and be like, "There's really bad vibes in this house. I'm a medium." So that has happened, but I think it's fine.
what about that voodoo doll thing that happened with the like pin in the like with a piece of paper that said "go"?
Yeah, that was a little bit weird. My roommate found a paper that said "go" on a plant that they had previously seen before, but they could have missed it. It could have been a prank. Like in my room, there was some like shirtless selfie of the dude who used to live there. I don't know why he left it in there. It was like hidden behind stuff. So I just feel like the previous people left a lot of pranks in the house for us to find. It's still a little creepy to find a needle with a sign that says "go," but it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
All right, you're moving past it. Maybe you need to like bring in. There's probably someone you can hire in LA who will come in and like cleanse the energy of your house.
Yeah, just save it.
We actually considered that. I mean,
Actually,
if
you
it
know
would
what?
put
I'm gonna
people's mind
find
to
that.
rest.
I'm gonna find that person that can so make. I'm gonna make a note to find that person and send them over to your house for you. Like that.
That's a good
I'm
one.
sure there's.
Somebody to
Yeah.
clean out the house. Yeah, no, weird things have been happening. Worst case, nothing happens. Best case, the hauntings stop.
Yeah. Exactly. It can't hurt.
Yeah.
It can't hurt, right?
Yeah. Well, my roommate thinks that if we upset the spirits and try to get them out of the house and it's not successful, then it could actually get worse.
So it could hurt.
It
Actually, it could hurt. They
actually
could see that as a declaration
Yeah,
of
yeah,
war.
yeah. Exactly. But I'm just gonna go back to my ignorant life of not believing in ghosts and saying everything is fine.
I love it. I love it. So how's influencer life in LA? I feel like you've moved around a lot. You were in Austin, New York. Now you're finally in LA where I'm not going to say you belong, but like
Ouch.
where like there's a kind of ecosystem of people who are making their living as creators on the internet. Is it changed? Is it better?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely way more streamers here than there were in LA, so it's very cool if we're trying to come up with content ideas or even just being able to talk to other people who work in a similar industry, since the kinds of challenges you have are very specific, kind of how founders like to hang out together as well. But it's still pretty new. I'm still adjusting to the LA life. And the thing is, my content is so niche, right? I play chess on the internet that I've already figured out what kinds of videos do well on Twitch and YouTube, and our YouTube has been doing really well. I think it's like 10x over the last year or so in terms of viewers. A lot of it isn't even on collaborations. A lot of it is honestly just grinding and trying to make as many videos as possible. But I'm trying to use the LA geography. For example, last week I went to USC campus with my sister, and we were giving iPhones to anyone who could beat us at chess. And it was really cool. The entire USC campus came out to try to challenge. The chess club came. The kind of content we make isn't really dependent as much on other creators, but having a community of creators is very helpful because you have people to relate with and help get feedback on like videos and stuff like that.
Did you have to give out a single iPhone?
Well, my sister ended up losing a game to this girl who she actually grew up competing against, who was also like a professional or like a competitive chess player, and they used to train in the same tournaments, and she did lose that game, so we gave out the iPhone. And then by then we had already been playing for so long that we were exhausted. I got sunburnt playing chess, not at the beach, no, but I got actually really bad sunburns from playing chess at USC campus, so I was kind of done at that point.
Amazing. You were like, hey, please take the iPhone.
Yeah, like we were
going
gonna give it out regardless because we wanted to give it to somebody. So I'm glad it ended up with somebody actually winning a good game. So we're still editing the video, but it'll be good. And I've been building our content team slowly now that we're in LA. So we're gonna hire somebody full time for production. Our other full time hire we were bringing to the U.S., but he's actually in Ukraine. So the current conflict is hitting hard.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Our
That
EA
sucks.
and who basically helps with everything is currently in Ukraine.
He's amazing.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. He's like really smart guy. He,
Yeah.
got like a bronze medal at the math Olympiad, got to chess ratings very quickly in a year, was living on Twitch, ended up hiring him like 2 years ago. We were going to bring him to the US, and yeah, now I just hope he's going to be safe as well as everybody else who's in Ukraine.
Man, let's talk about that in a second. But there are two
Yeah.
notes I wanted to make. One on the video side, I actually have a video guy for you if you need more video help.
Oh, interesting.
But then the second thing,
I might
yeah.
follow up with that after.
Yeah. I also oh man, I made this. I gotta tell you about this video I made. I mean, this weekend I flew down to LA to like make a YouTube, and I had so much fun doing it. I like basically took this guy who's he's like a creator on TikTok, and he's a fan of my content, and I like tuned up his life. Like I gave him like a bunch of life advice, and then we did I took him shopping and like bought him some new threads, and then we went to we set him up with a blind date, and then I got him a dating coach, influencer dating coach, who is like a creator on YouTube, and we like gave him a bunch of advice, and then he went on the date, and we're like in his ear on an AirPod. He's like wearing an AirPod, and we're like
Oh my gosh.
in Santa Monica. We're like
That's
basically
serious
coaching
production,
him.
Justin. I'm actually very impressed. This actually takes
That's
a while
impressed.
to set up.
Yeah.
It was fun. It
Yeah.
took, I mean, Jen, who's like my producer on my channel, is like she's a hero. She set the whole thing up, but it was so much fun to do. So I want to do like, if it works at all, like I want to do more.
Yeah,
Like,
actually, Jen reached
gotta
out
make
to
a
me to
cameo.
see if I could be on it, but it was when my org was trying to shoot a skydiving video. So that's why I was like, oh, I'd love to, but I can't make
I'm
it.
so sad you didn't go skydiving.
Yeah, and then it got canceled last minute, so it all went to waste.
Yeah.
But that it
She's
sounded
asking
hilarious.
the most ridiculous questions.
I just
So,
don't want to jump out of a plane.
next time.
I would be scared. But no, I'm excited to see how that video does. It's interesting to see you venturing a little bit away from the kind of content niches that you've been doing so far. What is really natural about you is how much you actually love content. You're already been such a successful entrepreneur, and you just love content. That's how I've seen it before I started talking to you.
I mean, it's fun. Like I like making it,
Yeah.
right? Like it's like I get to hang out with people and and meet new people and just like try something creative. My content does not perform that well, right? Like it's like basically I made this couple videos in the beginning which were on like selling Twitch, and those ones were huge, or not huge, but relatively good for me. And then like every other piece of content has been like less and less basically over time, but it's like I still like making it, so fuck it.
I mean,
No,
you're basically
I
living
watched a lot of-
TV
yeah.
now.
Yeah, exactly. And I know I did watch a lot of your earlier vlogs too, and you're talking about like founder depression and things like that. And I will say, at least for the people who do watch them, even if they're not exploding, because it's a very niche thing to talk about, I think it's very helpful. So at least the impact is there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do get a lot of positive feedback, but
Yeah.
I want to do more on. I want to break out. I want to do more of this like general life advice. I'm like, so this video that we just shot, that's like a test balloon. Hopefully it'll work, and then I can make more of them.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
No, that sounds great.
But let's talk about Ukraine. Like this situation in Ukraine is insane, and I feel like a lot of people are completely shocked that it can even exist in the world. It's only been a week, right, since
Yeah.
Russia invaded
Yeah.
Ukraine. What are like? How are you guys seeing? I mean, I know Alex, you've been like raising some money for it, right? Like for Ukraine causes.
Yeah. So
How do you? What's going on?
So I have been doing charity streams on Twitch to basically raise money for humanitarian organizations that are helping with things like medical aid for civilians and under-resourced hospitals. I always find that it's easier to raise money on Twitch when it's for a humanitarian case rather than for like raising directly to the military. And I stand with Ukraine, and I obviously a lot of the Western world is supporting Ukraine. But what I found very interesting about what's going on is I've never seen such unity on social media before. And it really feels like my entire timeline is supporting Ukraine in a way where it's almost creating a kind of echo chamber. And it's great because we're supporting, a sovereign nation that is getting invaded. But at the same time, I'm kind of wondering if it's going to cause any risks, or maybe risk turning a conventional war into a nuclear war, right? Because now public opinion is going towards supporting U.S. troops actually going to support the war effort. And something like that could be very scary.
Yeah, I saw like over 50% of Americans, or like I think it was something around like just over 50% supported military intervention in Ukraine. Although I think there were some caveat like primer questions that were left out of that like graph.
Yeah.
That, but it's like pretty high. I don't know. People seem like pretty united in that. But
And I also don't know if it's unprecedented, but I know like at least in terms of crypto, there's almost been like 30 million raised that has gone towards Ukraine, and a lot of it going directly to the Ukrainian military. Has there ever been such like a public fundraiser for a sovereign state's military, or is this new?
Actually, there's, like private, you'd think it's new, right? Like you think like when it comes to military, like spend and like raising money for military arms, that's like something that governments would do, right?
Or like selling
that private
bonds or things
citizens
like
would.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just reading this book about the formation of Israel, actually, and in Israel, before the state was formed, like they raised money, private funds, like at the late 40s. Golda Meir and like others like went into America and raised private funds from like Jewish people all over the world to like fund the purchase of like secret weapon caches.
Interesting.
So I mean, it's like I don't know. There's like private fundraising in for weapons all over, throughout history, I think.
Yeah, no,
But
that makes sense. And again, as a content creator, I always get worried about being taken out of context. So I keep restating like, I support Ukraine. I stand with the people. It's a tragedy what's going on right now, but it does scare me a little bit in terms of escalation. And like there's that famous quote from Art of War where you want to basically build your enemy a golden bridge where they can retreat on. And kind of the terrifying thing of if Putin ends up feeling like he doesn't have a choice and it does end up leading to nuclear escalation, and if he's sitting there like a dictator wondering what could happen, and seeing kind of the West's response here, last time the U.S. tried to take down a dictator, it didn't end up well in Iraq. He was hung in front of people. I would be very afraid as Putin, and I'm kind of worried if there's not going to be some kind of soft out. So I don't really know. I guess it kind of ties back into how there's always been propaganda in terms of war, and now social media are just new channels for it, but I've just never seen this kind of unity. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but it's something I've been trying to figure out.
Yeah, well, I think like social media algorithmically suggests things that we think that we're going to agree with or like. So on our timelines, at least, it's showing people that support Ukraine. But don't ask why, but I also have a lot of friends who believe in the conspiracy theories. And when I go on like their networks, it's actually entirely different. Like I do think they're the minority, but a lot of people are saying like they still stand with Ukraine, but they think that it's almost a distraction from other things. So I guess like that's my opinion on it overall. But I think that like overall, I think people are unified. Like there were more raised in crypto donations than like the United Nations and the Red Cross combined, which is a little insane. Yeah.
the crypto side is actually a double-edged sword, though, right? Because it's one, it's been a really easy way for people to donate to Ukraine, but it's actually, now that there's all these economic sanctions in place with Russia, I think something like Bitcoin purchasing in Russia has like 10x'd in the last week.
Right.
And, it's a question on whether the, U.S. government and other Western governmental agencies will be able to stop, like inflows and outflows of capital through crypto to Russia,
Yeah.
which is kind of like, I have some friends, like my friend Balaji, would say it was good, like that we have this global financial system that like, the West can't just control and like unilaterally cut people out of. But it kind of like defeats our ability to effectively execute these sanctions against Russia.
Yeah, that's for
So I don't know. I'm kind of,
sure.
yeah, it's hard.
And I know another thing Balaji also talks about a lot is how, the U.S.'s power is decreasing, and he thinks it's inevitable. And I mean, obviously this is very bullish for Bitcoin, but I mean, it does make sense that countries outside from China and the U.S., if you have a choice, if you want your assets to be denominated or valued, would it rather be in a foreign currency or a non-sovereign state? So it does make sense like that we're going to be trending towards the latter. But for sure, I guess it will take away the financial system being used as a tool that can play some kind of role in these global conflicts.
Do you think there's like, I know you guys aren't seeing it, but like it sounds like there's like a huge amount of like propaganda and like fake information. Well, maybe you are seeing it actually. There's like a huge amount of fake information and kind of like fake news and propaganda that's been being produced by both sides in this conflict, where like there's that like Ghost of Kyiv video which was, this pilot shooting down Russian, Ukrainian pilot presumably shooting down Russian planes. That was like a flight simulator video.
Right.
And there's a lot of like, kind of this fake propaganda news. Like it feels like this is like the first war where people are really fighting it in like a kind of this social media propaganda way. And I wonder if that'll have like a ongoing lasting consequences for how we think about global conflict. It's kind of like, reminds me of like the presidential election in 2016 where like Trump kind of like shit posted his way to like this huge amount of, support with this specific base, and like everybody who was in the elites were like super shocked when he won. I wonder if we're going to see some sort of like unnatural consequence from this. Like for example, if Ukraine is like super galvanizes all this international support because of
Yep.
this media that's being created, and the pictures of like Zelensky and you know, his like military outfit and in the streets of Kiev, like if they're able to, could that change like global support and international support, which causes like harsher sanctions, which affects the outcome of the war.
Yeah, I mean,
It seems like
I feel like
Go ahead.
propaganda, especially in times of war, has always been biased. So what has changed right now is just the communication channels being through social media, and similar to how we had in the election. I think then at least I know Facebook and Google have started taking some actions against if it's clear that it's a state actor, not letting them publish certain things. But it is really hard to control everything that is coming out and determining, what fake news is, who is posting it. And I do think it makes sense that social media platforms are going to do this. But to be honest, when it comes to the topic, the thing I find scarier, and it actually kind of ties back into the conflict where, a lot of political scientists are saying like Russia isn't a threat to the international system. Their GDP is less than Texas. The real threat is China. And you have TikTok, which is held by a hostile military power that's collecting so much information on all of these citizens. Imagine what happens in a world war when the hostile platform not only is pushing propaganda and has all this information, but also owns the platform. That's what's scarier to me in this conversation, because I also I think it's very hard to figure out how to properly censor things at scale, and it's just something that has been going on all the time. So I guess the point is, it's even scarier not when they're just pushing things to the channel, but when they control the channel.
Yeah, Lucy, do you think like I feel like this could be the start of the fracturing of the internet? In that, like TikTok was a good example where I actually think, like India's banned TikTok, right? Like, it does have this like huge opportunity to be this massive, source of information that flows from like global citizens to like the Chinese government. And I wonder, should Trump have actually banned it? And then maybe there's a separate question I have actually, which is like, you have all these private companies in America and basically enacting like private sanctions against Russia, right? Like, people are calling on WeWork to like shut down Russia, and like other places of like other companies are like, either doing pro-Ukraine things or like shutting down like their Russian access. And one of the things like I thought was like, if Apple, Google, and Amazon just shut off like internet infrastructure through like AWS and GCP and stuff to Russia, that would like be crippling. You could like brick every phone right like there for like, and that's like that would be a pretty incredible move. But like, maybe we shouldn't have private sanction like companies just deciding what to do like in terms of foreign policy to like foreign governments, like, because that will it might provoke like a pretty severe response. But then the second is like, that's going to like incentivize all of these different countries to like build their own copies of the internet, right? Their own copies of like local companies. I don't know. Do you guys have Lucy, you have any thoughts on like what should happen and like how it might happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the current state of the world, I actually don't see too much of a problem of them shutting down things or limiting access. I think it's like if you're a bad community member, then you temporarily lose access to like TikTok, for example. And quite frankly, I think Russia is being a bad community member and is not great for the world right now. I do think in the future, like long term, I see things like like fractionalizing the internet, but B, like more community members voting, similar to like in a DAO almost. Like maybe like Twitter should, like all the members are like a DAO and they vote on whether Russia should be limited. I also think like in terms of just like the spread of misinformation, right? Like even now you can argue that there are entities, private companies that are essentially saying like, okay, this is the truth and this is not. And sometimes they even switch back. Like I think with Facebook, they said that it was not true that COVID was a lab leak, and now it could potentially be true.
Well, that's kind of the argument for crypto, right? Which is like,
exactly.
we don't really want to trust these giant companies to be arbiters of the truth, or maybe like to decide who gets kicked out of the global community of their platform. And I just wonder if there's path to, you know, a lot of these things like Twitter and Facebook are extremely strong networks, and like it seems like pretty difficult to like turn them into a DAO. Like there's this, you know, like the people who are controlling those companies right now are not going to be like, or aren't moving towards like, hey, let's make this,
Yep.
you know, kind of like a globally like a crypto thing that's controlled by the people who like participate in it.
Yeah, but I think in the future, I think Web3 is the future, and in the future, people are going to be moving to new platforms. I would say that like almost every social network that was popular 10 years ago is no longer popular, or very few people are using it. Like the new generations are always adopting the next new thing. And from what I've seen, at least the smartest people that I know at least are all working in Web3. So I'm convinced that the future is going to be decentralized.
Justin included with your new company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I agree with you, Lucy, but I wonder what's the path to that, because it's like from a practical standpoint, like I've thought a lot about this. It's like, you know, these things like Instagram is like a huge network effect, or Twitch, right? Like
Yeah.
Alex, what's it going to take to get you to like use a decentralized social media company, right?
Right.
Probably like they have to, like there has to be some people there.
Yeah.
Where, you know, it has to be growing super fast and you have to want to hop on, right?
Right. I remember, so before I was a content creator, I was working on a startup, and at certain points in our pivots, we were trying to build a new social network. And I quickly learned that there was just some VCs in the Valley who just didn't believe there was any space for a new for a new social network. And then obviously it's kind of at the time where Musical.ly rose up. So it seems very difficult, but as there's new paradigm shifts online and in the world, there's always a development of some kind of new social network, and it does feel like the next big ones will have to do with Web 3.0, because, you know, when you see Twitter banning the former president of the US who then goes to start a competitor, I think things like this are going to increasingly happen towards some kind of censorship resistant platform that will eventually get over the network effects, probably start with like a small niche of like very serious crypto people, and then expand after, kind of like you have with all the platforms and the initial users.
Yeah. My thought
But
is that
you
it's
guys
going to be
probably
a
know more
community.
about it.
I guess my thought is that I think it's going to be focused on news to start. If you look at like top social apps, I guess, that have just reached number one in the App Store instantly, they tend to be like a QAnon community because they are angry that they're censored. But I do think that like there could probably be some protocol where like there's a truth score almost, where members vote on like what information is true, and it's weighted differently based off of how trustworthy they seem. And people will move over to this new news app. That's my guess, because people are always trying to, like nowadays especially, like people, there's a increasingly like there's a lot of mistrust with every journalist and news company. So I suspect that that's going to be the like first step towards a new decentralized social app.
What do you see it like, Justin?
I think actually have a friend who's like working on something like that, Lucy, which I think is that's one vector. It's like I actually think that all these kind of alt-right people in the U.S. who have been kicked off of you know, the existing social networks, like that could be a thing, but like their apps that they build are so bad, you know, like they're just like Parler or Truth Social or whatever,
Yeah.
Exactly.
like terrible apps.
A better version of
it's just
that, where it's actually based off of trust.
Yeah, like you know, so maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm like, you'll probably discover it before I will.
Lucy will
Lucy,
put
I
the
think you'll be
first check
like,
into that company.
She'll be putting the first check into some alt-right social network.
Oh my God, no.
It's,
No alt-right social networks.
we're calling it here first. It's used like some QAnons like come to you with a pitch deck for like a new news app that only tells the truth. You're like, I'll fund it. I'll fund it.
Lucy's like, I'm ready. Here's the check.
Yeah, here's the check. All right, what else are we going to talk about here? Bitfinex. Right, the Bitfinex hack.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When that came out, I think I wasted my entire day looking into Razzlekhan, who was part of the couple that ended up with this hack. Which I don't know if we should give background. I imagine a lot of people already know about
What's
it.
the tell the background? No, tell the background.
Oh, it's so
give the
good.
background, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, or yeah.
Well, in 2016, $3.6 billion were hacked from Bitfinex, and it was only recently that the Department of Justice were able to seize these funds. And what was really interesting about the story, it was the strangest couple who pulled this off. It was a mix of a former YC founder and this interesting Forbes columnist, self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur, hobbyist rapper who also would make PowerPoint presentations about how to like climb up the social ladder that included things like fake badges at conferences and things like that. And there was a lot about this couple just on TikTok and YouTube. And I know, Lucy, you went through a TikTok rabbit hole looking at this couple as
It
well,
was
right?
hilarious. Like, yep. I mean, specifically the wife. I looked at her, and she was just a wannabe rapper that would rap about Bitcoin, NFTs, etc.
Wow, was it good? I haven't seen
No.
any of this. We're gonna
My
have to put some
favorite.
up.
So before her YouTube got taken down, again, I should not have spent as much time as I did, but I watched a lot of her music videos, and one of my favorite was this rap called Vacuum Cleaner that you're supposed to send to people you don't like, and the lyrics were, "You suck like a vacuum cleaner," and then just absurd dancing. This is why I was saying we need to.
But
we need to
that's
put
so
some of
much
these
better
videos
than the
up.
ones I saw.
You no the
Wait,
music
so she
videos
put this
were.
on YouTube as like a music video.
Yeah, and she really produced them. Like there was some high level production here. Like she took this hobby very seriously, more than you do, Justin. Like she
Well,
really
3.6 billion had to go somewhere. That 3.6 billion was probably funneling into these music videos.
well, I mean, that's how they got hacked because they tried. I mean, the thing I think is interesting about this is that I think we're finally at a place where it's actually harder to launder money in crypto because it's all available publicly than it is with cash, especially with like a lot of new security companies that are popping up. But yeah, they didn't do a very good job. Like they had their keys in plain text. They tried to buy gift cards with the Bitcoin. They weren't able to get out most of it.
Why didn't they? Yeah, they only took out like 100 mil or something, right?
Yeah.
Or like something like that.
Yeah.
But like, couldn't they have used Tornado Cash to like launder?
Yeah, they
a bunch of it?
they didn't use
wondering
any
about that.
mixers.
Yeah, so like Tornado would have been a good one, or like the other thing that you can do to launder. Not that I've thought a lot about this.
Justin's
at all,
like, I have
what-
detailed notes.
Yeah, what I would do is like, couldn't you like use it to pump a shitcoin? Like, let's say you like buy with your legitimate wallets, you buy shibcoin or some shitcoin, right? That like nobody that's has a low price, and then you basically use the illicit wallet to just start pumping up. Like you just buy tons of like assets of this like one shitcoin, and then everybody who's like holding the shitcoin is gonna like start selling it, and one of your your legitimate account, your wallets would sell it also. So I mean, your
Yeah.
conversion rate wouldn't be very high, right? You probably would lose a lot in it, by paying out other people or whatever. But it seems like that's a way to launder.
Yeah,
Although maybe like it's kind of obvious, like whoever bought into that shitty cryptocurrency could be like is sus. I don't.
I mean, given that they didn't
I don't
even
know.
use Tornado Cash, it feels like they just didn't think much about
Yeah.
this.
They also didn't use a lot of different wallets. It was just very weird. I mean, if you've already gone through the effort and you've pulled that off,
Yeah.
I feel
Come
like
on,
they probably
people, what are you
hired
doing?
someone to pull it off for them.
I mean, maybe. Also, the
Yeah.
more I looked through their TikTok, I was like, this couple has been framed. There's no way they pulled this off. They seem like the most normal couple. They have TikTok videos in their apartment doing regular things like vacuum cleaner or just playing with their cat. They look so normy. I mean, I'm not surprised that Netflix saw this and they're like, yep, we're making a docuseries. It's just an unbelievable
Oh, there's a Netflix
story.
series
Yeah.
about this now.
Like after a few days that this happened in the news, Netflix already started working on a series.
Amazing.
I feel like the
actually
year of
met that guy in
2022 is
YC.
fraudsters.
Wait, you met him?
Yeah, I met him in YC. When did he go through YC? It was when I was a partner there.
Was it before
And
or
he had
after
like
me?
some SEO company. It was before, I think, I think it was before you, or maybe around that time. I think it was maybe before, like a year or two before.
Okay.
I don't remember when he went through. He had some sort of like SEO company or security company. He was a little like, I don't know. He just seemed like a kind of nerdy guy, but like not that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I've seen people in
seem
groups
like
saying too. That he just seemed
Yeah,
like a
he
normal
didn't seem like
guy.
a 3.6 billion master criminal.
That's why it must
Let
have
me
been
look
the
this guy
rapper.
up on Bookface. Yeah, she
she
seems
did
more.
it to get clout.
She seems a little bit more sketchy, right? If she was trying to like, scam conference badges or whatever to like to increase her social standing. That's like a.
Yeah, I want to
Right, I'm
send
gonna
you
look
the
this guy-
photo of the PowerPoint because the slides were hilarious. Maybe we could put them up in the podcast.
She also said
Okay,
rap
I'm gonna
about
have to-
social engineering.
Yeah.
She put a rap about social engineering.
Yeah.
Did you pick up any tips, Lucy?
On
I know you
TikTok
don't
somewhere.
need it.
No, not really. Too busy laughing.
Yeah. No, it was very entertaining.
Okay, I can't find this. So I'll have to do it later. I was trying to look him up on the internal YC forum, but it's
that'd
it's
be
not finding him.
fascinating.
Maybe he got canceled off of it.
Yeah. Yeah, they just
So, like-
removed him, reduced the liability.
Yeah. Do you think there's like that law enforcement actually like knows what's going on with crypto now? I guess if they like were able to track this guy down, like there's I'd be afraid if I was a criminal like using crypto right now.
Yeah.
I'd be a little scared.
Well, I think this.
I mean, you think it's like 6 years from like they hacked hack was 6
Yeah.
years ago. You think you've like kind of gotten away, and then like boom.
Well, it seems like they missed a lot of steps, but I think overall the security infrastructure in crypto is really evolving. I mean, you have companies like Chain Analysis that are helping governments and financial institutions with compliance and chasing down. And I'm pretty sure they were involved in this. And there was also like another recent ETH DAO hack where they were able to unmix Wasabi and actually start doing some much more advanced ways of tracking things down. So I think it's more of a crypto industry is still very nascent. It's going to take a while for these things to develop. Obviously, there has been a lot of exchange hacks. Everybody knows you shouldn't keep your money on an exchange, put it in cold storage. But I think it's just a matter of time until these things improve. And then on top of that, a lot of these liabilities are also being priced in. Because even with the Bitfinex hack, when it happened, they ended up giving a lot of equity or tokens to the people who had their assets taken away that I think ended up being worth more than what was actually stolen. I'd have to double check that. But you've seen this with a lot of other protocols and exchanges as well. So I'm not sure.
No.
Do you guys think this is similar to like other startups or other industries where at the beginning things are just very shaky, there's a lot of holes, and it just takes time?
Well, for sure. But usually in other startups, those holes don't result in like $400 million hacks or whatever. But yes,
Relative
Yeah.
to the crypto industry size.
when we started Fractal, like immediately there was a Discord hack that ended up someone like social engineered one of the people who was working on a Discord and then got a posting access and then posted a fake mint page and drained like $150,000 of wallets from people who are in a Discord.
No.
Like within the first like week. Yeah.
Whoa,
I don't know if you guys saw that.
So what ended up
had
happening?
that happen to me.
Yeah, I covered it. I paid.
Exactly. You're
refunded
covering it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was like a new entrepreneur, I wouldn't have been able to cover it. I could only cover it because I've
Yeah.
have some other savings
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it was like that sucked. I mean, and we got off easy. Like there was someone else who got another community that got hacked the same way and that lost like over $1 million or whatever.
Do you guys work with any
They end up
companies
covering.
to help secure digital assets?
Yeah, well now we do. We have like an auditing, like, now
Yeah.
we like, and we're like super paranoid now. We're like locked down everything. Like everything has like, 2FA on it. Like there's within our company. I mean, it's a startup. Like
Yeah.
in the beginning of a startup, normally we would have like no control, information security controls on like who gets access to what account or whatever. Now we have like a ton. Like not almost nobody has like our internal company passwords and Twitter, stuff like that. Even people who work at the company, right? Like, because
Right.
we're just so paranoid about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no. That
But sorry, Lucy, you were saying you got hacked. Did you get drained from a fake mint?
No, so one of my founders gave me a fake mint link along with like 20 other founders, and we all minted from this fake
Wait, on
mint
purpose?
link. No, he
Accidentally.
He was social engineered. So, and I just trusted him. So we all ended up, and then we were confused why it wasn't showing up in our wallet. So we just kept on pressing him in.
But then did they drain your wallet?
Oh, they didn't drain the entire wallet. I just lost a few grand.
Oh, so it was just for the mint. Oh, you
Yeah, it was
got
just
off
for the mint,
easy.
yeah.
You got off.
Yeah, when
yeah.
you said it
Yeah,
happened
easy.
to you, I was like, oh god, they must have.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You gotta always use a burner wallet. That's a PSA. Always use a burner wallet.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about NFTs then. We can kind of move on. What's I want to. There's a couple topics. One, I want to know what's in Lucy's wallet, what she's
Yes.
collecting. I feel like she's one spending a lot on NFTs, and two, like kind of you're probably on the cutting edge of like what taste is in NFTs, at least way more than me. And then the second is I want to talk about gaming NFTs and like how much gamers hate gaming NFTs and your thoughts on that, Alex. But first, let's talk about what's in
Yeah.
Lucy's wallet.
Cool. So,
fun
in my
topic.
NFT wallet, like, I basically think that NFTs, I enjoy actual, like, real world art, and then I enjoy membership clubs, because membership clubs provide access to things. And I just happen to be someone that really likes access. So, I think everyone knows that, like, Bored Ape
Really?
yeah.
Really, you like access.
I love
Over
access.
New Year's,
If
you were
it's not
texting
an
me like, "Hey,
artist
do you know
pass,
Kanye?
She's
Can you-"
not going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I brought you
Over
to
New
your
Year's,
first
Lucy's, like,
festival
texting
on an
me, like-
artist pass.
You did,
Yeah.
and you got me addicted. But sorry, Justin, go ahead. She asked you about Kanye?
Yeah, she's like, "Yo, do you know? I heard you're friends with Kanye. Can you get me into this Kanye party in Miami or whatever?" I'm like, I don't know Kanye, and if I did, I'm not sure how that's how I'd be what I'd be texting him, but like, I don't know. So yes,
Okay, well, anyways, so I think like Bored Ape and Mutant Apes have the strongest community out there, and what they've done really well is throw like events around the world. I remember during New York NFT week, I had friends literally buy a Bored or Mutant Ape just to get into the Bored Ape Yacht Club party, which is insane to me. But also like I think it's just a more exclusive, like very expensive Soho House membership essentially. So I got a Mutant Ape there, and then I really wanted to go to the Drake and Bieber party. I already had access, but I also wanted to bring friends to the Drake and
Oh,
Bieber
I remember
party.
this.
Exactly. So I got another NFT that allowed me to get to the like it was $100,000 table. Like basically, this NFT owned 3 of the best tables for the Drake and Bieber party. So even though I was already guest listed, I like went and so I got the NFT so I could also bring friends. But it also comes with like different pop-up events around the world, which is cool. From like yacht parties to I don't know.
wait,
like
which
F1.
NFT is this? What NFT
Some
is
places
this?
.co.
Places.co.
Yeah. You look
Okay,
it up
should
later.
I buy this? Well, how much is Places.co?
It's 25 grand.
Okay, I mean that's expensive, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Especially if you
and
get
then my
a
other
lot of
NFTs are just like
access.
really awesome artists. Yeah, you do get it. Like the $100,000 tables are nice. Like I really didn't need it because I did already have tables at this event, but I wanted to bring more friends. And then outside of that, I would say that I own NFTs that are connected to art. So Gal Yosef is one of my favorite artists out there. I actually bought a Bitcoin Pikachu from him. He launched like the Meta Eagle Club, but I think he's people that own his Meta Eagles have like exclusive first access to a lot of his like real world art and gallery shows, etc., which I think will be fun. Particles, so they bought a piece of Banksy and they split it up into I believe 10,000 particles, and you can buy a particle of a like Banksy piece, so you own part of an actual real world art. And I'm seeing a lot of this happen with other artists as well. Like Thank You X is blowing up, and now his NFTs are actually worth more than his physical pieces. I lost a bid on Sotheby's today, or I lost an auction for a piece. But yeah, his pieces, like his NFTs, are going for around I want to say like 250 to 300K nowadays.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm seeing like a lot of artists realize that like with NFTs, they get royalty fees because most art isn't valued super high until the artist dies. So they don't get to make all the money from the resales. And you can imagine that this can affect someone's like family for generations. Like if Basquiat's family got royalties from all the secondary sales on his pieces, that'd be insane, given how much his pieces go for. So a lot of the real world artists are now switching over to NFTs, or like attaching NFTs with their
Makes
physical art
sense.
pieces. Yep.
And I
Yeah.
also like going back to the first thing you said. We were talking about the social club because I know we were having this conversation when you were in LA, where it seems like this is bound to happen. NFTs as a social club, but a lot of the issues right now, it's most of the holders are male, and you were even talking about the parties in New York. Do you
What kind of club is that?
like do you want to just
It's
hang
lame.
out with a ton of dudes who all own Bored Apes, or how do you actually make it a little bit more diverse?
So this is why I refused. So like I was guest listed because I'm a girl, and this is why I refused to buy these for so long, because I was like, why am I paying for things if I'm a girl? Like that's the beauty of being a woman. I don't need to pay. But what I realized is that all these parties, they actually hire promoters. So when you go to these tables, like the Bieber Drake table had an entire list of models who I happened to be friends with. So I bumped into them and I didn't even know that I was gonna see them. But no, like they know that. So they always like fill the tables with 10 out of 10 models too. And Bored Ape Yacht Club,
So-
I found out they hired my friend to be a promoter and bring hot girls. So it's interesting because if you owned a Bored Ape and you had the regular Bored Ape wristband, you had to wait in this like long line that looked like it was 2 hours long. And if you're a hot girl, you could literally just walk in.
That's life. So I mean, basically they've reinvented the club, is what you're saying, where you could just instead of paying $20,000 for a table to go in this nightclub, you're just paying $20,000 for an NFT to go in the nightclub as a guy, and then if you're an attractive woman, they just walk you to the front anyways.
Well, you have to be really, really attractive. Like, I think the people that own the NFTs or run the NFT social clubs, they like hand select every girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Like 10
so
out of 10.
places.co
everyone.
is what are you investing in any like new NFTs, like ones that are unproven that like that are you think are gonna moon or whatever or become something?
And this is not financial advice.
This is not financial advice.
Just
This is, I'm
adding
just
it in
curious
there,
for
Justin,
myself.
for
It's
your
yeah.
liability.
We'll just bleep them out.
The
You
interesting
just tell me what
NFTs
they are. We'll bleep them out.
No, so like I think it's almost a lottery game every time you buy an NFT, right? So like Galliverse, for example, which is Galiosis NFT, we'll see how well it does. But
Are
like,
these
the floor
the
price
Eagles?
isn't great right now. Yeah, they're the Eagles. Like they're not doing that great floor price wise. But like, do I think he is going to like? Is he blowing up as an artist? Yes. Like I bought this Bitcoin Pikachu piece from him for like $35,000, and I think it's going to be worth a lot more in the future. So theoretically, his NFT should increase in value as his like other pieces increase in value, and as he like blows up as an artist in the real world. I think that it's a lottery in a sense that like even if you invest in a like shitty NFT, if you get a rare NFT like a legendary, you're gonna be able to sell it for a lot and flip it immediately. Like almost every NFT project I've seen, let's say the mint price was like $300. It'll resell for like $40,000 if you get a legendary, even if like the floor price is nothing.
So you're kind of participating in this lottery mechanic, even if the floor price doesn't move. If you happen to get the mythic one or the legendary one or whatever, and then you're
Someone's
Gucci.
gonna probably buy up the legendary one. Yeah.
It's a brave new world. I love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've just been collecting ones that are like, really, it's like I'm in this alpha group of like Asians. Are you guys in?
Wait,
Oh,
which
I'm
there's-
in
one?
a group
Why
called
not me?
JPEG Morgan, where Steve Aoki is probably our most
JPEG
active
Morgan.
member.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
in
You
one
gotta add me to
group that
group.
you're in as well. The one that I think Julian Shapiro started.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he's
yeah.
not pumping NFT
Yeah,
projects,
he's not pumping
right?
NFTs.
He's just
That's much more general.
that's more startups.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
these, and then we're in the Andreessen Horowitz creator group
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
But they're not pumping JPEGs either. Like
True.
there's this one group, this Asian Web3 mafia that I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about, but like I'm in this group, and then people are always like, they have their projects. There's all these Asian themed projects are like coming out, and then there's like sometimes I get like a whitelist spot or whatever, and so I bought an Ambush NFT or I bought like a Karafuru NFT, and like I don't know, I have no idea if these like things are gonna work or not. I'm just degenning into things as like, okay, like I'll support this project and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean that's
But there's no, I have no strategy, Lucy. I need like a real strategy here.
I mean, for strategy, I would just buy it with physical pieces and look for artists that are blowing up. Like Thank You X, for example, this was a big mistake on my part, but my friend hosted a charity action or a charity event at his dad's house with Thank You X pieces, and they were $25K at the time and a tax write-off. This was like about a year ago, and I did not buy them, and now I am looking at paying $250K for Thank You X pieces. And like along with his popularity soaring as a physical artist, NFTs are going for a lot too, and he's gotten smart and is attaching NFTs to physical artworks now too.
Oh, interesting. So it's a donation, but then they also give you this NFT.
Well, no,
But the
that
NFT
was just
you can
that one. That was just that one charity event. Like there are a lot of charity
Gotcha.
auctions
Oh,
out there.
I see.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I do think that the way I'm betting on NFTs nowadays is just figuring out which artists I think are going to blow up. Like when they die, they're going to be like a Basquiat, and then I believe that like they're phenomenal. I mean, plus like worst case scenario, you get this like beautiful piece of physical art that you can hang up on your home and that you love, right? And you just happen to have an NFT there as proof of ownership.
I think the proof of ownership thing is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like that to me is going to be a thing. Like, you know, when with all luxury stuff, like art, but also like luxury handbags or something like that. Like, because you can imagine if you're selling like a Birkin bag and there is a digital NFT certificate of ownership, the buyer is going to want that, right? They're going to be like, okay, I want the proof that it's real. And then for the transaction, like you can basically, that's a way for the brand to like enforce a royalty, right? They can get like a 7% of retail or 5% of retail or whatever 10% of retail, the resale transaction. And that, it improves the model a lot on the secondary market for them. So like they have no reason not to make these like NFT certificates, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of startups that are trying to create threads or liquids that like can go inside the seams, so you can scan that and verify the authenticity of like a bag.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
we'll see if it actually works.
Yeah, no, that
So,
utility makes a lot of sense to me. On my end, I mean, I kind of see it same as Lucy, where it's very much a lottery, and it's not something that I can spend a lot of time on. So it's much easier for me to just support projects I believe in and just hold long term. Like I just rather hold ETH and see what happens and not have to worry about it going day to day. And also there's so many scams going on in crypto, even when they're super hyped and everyone's involved and smart people are involved, like Mechaverse that ended up being a scam and things like that. So I like the
So you
examples
gotta-
that
you
Lucy
gotta-
gave with certain utility for some we're actually getting physical items. There's one actually recently that is called After Party, and they're hosting a festival in March in Las Vegas. And they've been giving out, a ton of these utopians, they call them, to creators. So they also gave one to me and my sister that like gives you artist access passes and +1 and access to all these social events. And that one was kind of cool because it's just similar to the social passes and just having an easier way to keep your access to these festivals.
Wait, hold up. Did you say artist passes?
Lucy's like, how do I buy one of these utopians
No, 'cause
right
my friend
now?
actually reached out to me. I was like, oh, I can bring people. Do you want to come? And I was like, is it artist access? Because the answer is no, unless it's artist access.
Yeah, no, it is artist. It gives you artist access and a +1 artist pass. Yeah, and like the
Okay,
where's my- I
Chainsmokers
wanna-
are headlining. There's some good names who are gonna be out there. Sophie Tucker.
Okay,
I want
You
I
should
want a
come,
utopian.
Justin.
When is this party?
It is, I think, March 15th to 16th or 16th to 17th, along those dates.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Aspen. Too many good things to do,
Yeah.
but I would come. That's a
gonna
good
be
way to
Hawaii.
build hype
Maybe
for
I
your
should-
festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
See, now
they're-
we're all talking about this shit
Exactly.
like utopians.
Exactly. And like their entire Instagram page is just like famous creators taking photos of their utopians, which actually when I went, they took a photo. I was like, please do not post it. If I talk about NFTs in any way, I am a gamer. I do not want to get killed. I don't want people to think that I've tried to scam my community or things like this. Like, this is really just getting promotion for a festival. But even being tied to NFTs, it could go so poorly on Twitch, and it is terrifying.
Wait, so talk to
Actually,
us about that,
Lucy
'cause,
was
like,
here, and she got on live stream fails because she was talking about NFTs on my roommate's stream.
Live stream fail?
Yes, you were on live
Live
stream
stream.
fails, Lucy.
Why didn't you guys
You were
tell
only
me?
You're
here
famous,
for a
Lucy.
few
You're
days. I
you're
don't know how you
famous.
pulled it off.
That's
You
so.
didn't
What
text
happened?
me
You were
about
talking
this.
about.
I didn't want to
You were
stress
you're,
you
you're,
out.
you were just talking about
it's
NFTs, and then I got clipped.
I was live streaming this, and they made a clip of me. I was just talking about NFTs, I guess. They like,
Yeah.
why didn't
Yeah.
you tell me?
Well, I don't know if I mean no Mink saw it after too, but yeah, no, it was on live stream fails because like anything related to NFTs, people are gonna take and they're gonna be like Envy member and Bota's sister promote scams or like things like that, and I wasn't even in the video. You know, Lucy's just she was just explaining.
Did you get associated with me?
Yes, I was in the title even though I was not in the video. This is what I mean. It is not
Nice.
a place you want to be in.
They're
sorry.
just trying to cancel you no matter what. So
I'm sorry.
tell us like what's the sentiment among gamers about NFTs? Like
Yeah.
they don't like them.
Yeah, so first, overall with crypto, like, at first people didn't care. Because I was, like, into crypto, so, like, one of the founders of OpenSea came on my Twitch stream before, I played chess with Vitalik, all these things, and at that point, no one cared. And I was like, that's fine, Twitch doesn't really care about anything going on in crypto, that's cool. But then when NFTs started blowing up, like, even though they're, like, 1% of the entire crypto industry, everybody on Twitch first started associating them with JPEGs and scams. Like, they don't think of NFT like, oh, this is a technology that allows for digital ownerships. They think NFT equals scam equals JPEG. This is the high level of what I think people on Twitch believe. Because one time I got canceled for something else, and in the comments it was like, what would you expect from Botes? She likes NFTs. So just like some crazy logic on what is going on here, but it's also just because I do understand it to some extent. I'm not just, teasing what people say. I think a lot of it is just headline reading and associating it with things being bad, or reading that it's this stupid thing that's also bad for the environment, and all of these arguments that I don't think the community is actually looking into. But I think the gaming community is trying to be defensive, right? Because gaming is this hobby you enjoy, and once you start to add even more monetary incentives, it does kind of lose it. Like, people already don't like games like Raid. It's very memed because you could pay to advance in games. So anything like this, I think, freaks out the gaming community, or it makes them think that they're just gonna be exploited even further. But I honestly think it's just going to take time, and people are going to realize that in certain games that have some kind of serious utility base, it does make a lot more sense if you've been grinding in a game to actually be able to own it and do things like that. But I think it's about ruining the purity of the game, and also just being defensive against scams, which, a ton of NFTs are actually scams, so I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because I'm like coming in from the completely opposite place, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm like starting an NFT marketplace
Right.
for gaming NFTs called Fractal, and I think it's like I feel like this is a better model for people. Like, it reminds me a lot of free to play games. Like in 2008, when both of you guys were like 10 years old or something, like there was a like the free to play was coming out, and like there were these games on Facebook like Mafia Wars and Zing. And,
Oh my god, I
Farmville
used to
that-
play Mafia Wars. I'd invite all of my friends to be the top mob boss.
Exactly. Yeah, and those people, but all these gamers were like, these games suck.
Yep.
They're like not games, and they're like scams. And we want to pay up front. We don't want to like be nickeled and dimed for like things in the game. And then now, you have, then there was League of Legends came out, and then now all the way fast forward almost 15 years, it's like you have Free Fire, you have Fortnite, and like the main games are like free to play games. And I think that this is NFTs are just a better, the idea that you just own the thing and then you can do with it as you wish on the outside. It's like better for players, that already, there's this economy that already exists in some of these in-game skins, like for like Half-Life, like for Counter-Strike skins, right?
Yeah.
It's like a huge economy, but if you want to trade them and stuff, you have to like it's not as
Yeah, you
it's
have
not
to
as
go to
easy
like a
as, like,
secondary market, and you're not even allowed to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that this will be just it'll be proven to be a better model, and it's just going to take, right now the games are like not that good, but like there's real game developers who are building good games, and when those come out, that's when people will be kind of more amenable to the experience when they're like, oh, this game is actually like fun.
Yeah, and I know you explained this on your Twitter too, and I read it and I agree. And I think it's one of those things that a lot of the NFTs that the gaming community is being pushed right now are just not very good. So they don't really have examples of where this would make sense. But over time, as it matures, I agree with you. It'll be kind of like a comparison to the early days of Zynga games. But
It's going to be huge.
Yeah,
NFT gaming NFTs,
yeah.
they're going to be huge.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Is it so? Oh, actually, Justin, when did you get into Web 3.0?
Well, so I started buying Bitcoin in 2013 because I was like, if this thing is like a huge thing, and I was here in Silicon Valley and people were talking about it, and I didn't buy any, then the FOMO is gonna kill me. Like I'm gonna literally die from FOMO. So I started. It was funny. I didn't have that much money then, so I put in, money into this thing. Like, not that much. I put in like whatever, and then because at first I wanted to invest in Coinbase. Actually, I was like, I emailed Brian, and Brian and I weren't really friends then. I knew him through YC, but I emailed Brian. I'm like, hey, let me invest. And he was like, our seed round's full, but you can invest through Funders Club. And then I was like, fuck, I don't want to invest through Funders Club because I don't want to pay these guys like 20% of like the upside, right? Which was stupid. That was such a stupid way to think about it because it was like,
It was an
if
ego
you think this is
thing,
going to be a
right?
thing. Yeah, it was ego.
I feel
ego.
that way sometimes still, so I get it.
Yeah. But it was like, I was just like, that was so stupid. So then I didn't do it, but I was like, okay, I'll just like use Coinbase and buy some Bitcoin instead. So I did that, and it was at like $800 at the time.
Oh, nice.
And then it immediately crashed to $200, and I was like, I'm literally the bag holder. I'm the idiot here. Like I'm like the person you read about who's like just trying to get rich quick, buys this like hyped up speculative thing, and then it like crashes, and then I'm like, I'm sad, And so then I forgot about it for like 4 years. I'm like, I had this Coinbase account. I like didn't log in. I didn't think about Bitcoin. And then in 2017, it started like growing again, right? And I was like, oh, this is like this is a thing. And then there was Ethereum had come out, and my friends are all talking about Ethereum and like whatever. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't know like why you would use this. Like it's a terrible way to build an application, because my experience is like building Twitch, and like I was like, you couldn't build an application like Twitch on Ethereum. Like it's too slow. It's not going to work. Like you wouldn't want to pay for all these transactions. And so I just like didn't get it at all. But then it started being like super valuable, right? Like it went up to like maybe 70.
Yeah.
And then, or first I think I heard about it when it was like in the
2017. It went up to like 400 something, I think.
Yeah, it was 70
I think
in
it was like
2016.
in the.
Yeah.
So I think I heard about it, and I was looking at it when it was 70. Then it went up to like, 400, right? And I was like, oh shit. I'm like, clearly I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I need to like. So I invested in a bunch of crypto funds. Then I was like, I need to like find someone who's actually paying attention because like I don't know. So I invested, and then I was like, what apps are going to work, right? And they kind of gave me some ideas, but they couldn't really explain any of them that were actually working. So I was like, this whole thing seems like it could be a scam, but like but I was like, I want to invest in it, like, cause it could be worth something. So like, once again, the FOMO thing is like fired. So then I put like over $1 million into like these crypto funds, and then I like kept paying attention, but like every time I checked, like nothing seemed like it was actually working or had any users. So I was like, but it seemed to get more and more valuable. So I'm like, I don't get it. This is completely disconnected from the reality I understand. And then I was advising one of my friends who wanted to start a project that was called Audius. That was like it was like a SoundCloud, decentralized SoundCloud. And then I still was like, this shit is not going to work, but like I want to like just see what happens. And they started out of my house actually. And then then fast forward to like a year ago, just over a year ago, they launched that project, and I had like $1 billion market cap or something like that. And I was like, it actually had, and then I used it, and I was like, oh, it actually works where you don't have to know anything about crypto, but it's running in a decentralized way. And so that made me really interested from the tech perspective. And then that's when I started to be like, okay, I want to like learn more. And then I invested in like OpenSea, and like was like launched an NFT for my YouTube channel. And then now I'm like fully in it. Now I'm completely red pilled. Yeah. But like I'm into it. I think my other friend started this thing called Brain Trust, which is like a decentralized marketplace for freelance labor, and that really helped me understand like, oh, this is a way of organizing people to
like an Upwork competitor.
Yeah, it's like Upwork, but it's decentralized.
They should work with Kobe.
And for the long.
since he hates
What's
Upwork.
Kobe?
Oh, Kobe is like the host of Up Only. So he's like a
Yeah.
huge crypto influencers, right? And he hates Upwork because he wanted to sell merchandise that said "Up" on the hat from Up Only, and we were like send him like a cease and desist or something. So now he's just been shitting on WeWork all the time. So he should partner up with this
Upwork.
company.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny.
Okay. I'll send them. I'll
Yeah,
send.
yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
should. Okay, so like, but they, I mean, I was for the longest time, I'm like, why the fuck do you need like to be a crypto thing? It's like Upwork kind of works. And then they just explained it as like, hey, we're just giving 100,000 people who are freelancers ownership in this project, and that's making them excited to like participate in it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, if you think stock in Silicon Valley works as a way to get people motivated because they feel like owners, then this is like another way to make people feel like owners.
Yeah.
And then to me, I was like, oh, that's
Yeah,
very
like
obvious.
literally,
that you said it
projects
that
with
way.
tokens end up doing a lot better than projects without tokens, even though it's literally the same thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have very incentivized users, so it solves the chicken and egg problem for a lot of startups.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Exactly.
going to solve
So-
it for creators in the future too, because I've been, talking to founders who are working on like creator DAOs and basically trying to give the community access and ownership over channels and things like that, which would have such a huge boost.
Yeah.
Because then if those people are pushing the content and promoting it, you have ownership, you're actively marketing it. Then you could, even like help and do side projects like making clip channels or just helping with some of the content. I'm really trying to figure out something like that, and maybe even considering testing things like
We
that.
should actually
myself,
chat because, that was something I wanted to incubate, and then I looked at a few competitors. People have been trying to do this in the past. Like there's some startups that are a few years old, but I think it might have just been before its time. I just saw a pitch deck for a startup that is doing it now. We'll see how that goes. Still might just try to incubate it myself.
Yeah, I know a founder. I'm going to look over the MVP next week, so I will let you know how it goes if it is interesting, and then we can
Okay, let
chat.
me know. Okay. Yeah.
All right, there you go. You heard it here first. This
Yeah.
is the next big thing. Creator DAOs. I actually think you're probably right. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm excited about the DAO as like a new way to organize and incentivize a community. It's cool. It feels like it could be like the creation of the joint stock corporation in like the 1600s. When they
but
created
I
the first
also
companies.
do think that like a startup like this could end up being a better OnlyFans. I know this sounds like kind of crazy, but like with OnlyFans, you're essentially like subscribing to the person, right? And people subscribe to OnlyFans and pay for OnlyFans, like the creators on OnlyFans, because they want to feel a connection, and they'll pay for like responses to things, etc. I can imagine that. Like creator economy DAO would end up being a better OnlyFans, because you like start controlling the person who you're a fan is of life.
Yeah, although that could be a tricky
That's just like
slope,
an
Is that what we
afterthought.
want?
Yeah,
is
it's
that
a tricky
Is that
slope.
what creators want?
because like Mr.
It's
Beast
not what
had this tweet.
regular creators want. Yeah.
Mr. Beast had this tweet. He's like, "Oh, I wish I could invest in creators like stocks because I can tell the ones that are doing well." Mr. Beast, like the fastest growing YouTuber, and a lot of creator responses are like, "Well, that would be a lot of pressure, and like sometimes the audience doesn't know best in terms of creation." So I think the hard part is actually balancing the amount of pressure that would put on a creator and the kind of content they do, and often like they have a certain very unique expertise that most of their audience doesn't have. So that has
No, what
been
I
part of the
imagine
tricky
more of, it's like,
part.
let's say you wanted to like dye your hair, and you just give options to your fans. Like, should I dye my hair pink or purple? And then
Yeah.
your DAO votes on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually tried to create something like this on Discord when I was working on my Twitch travel show, because I was playing chess in different countries, and I basically was trying to like get people to vote on specific decisions for the travel show and things like that. But it was a lot harder in practice than I had thought in theory. So I think, it's
That's
Like
fair.
what happened? Did people not want
what
to vote, or
happened?
did they
Like, the
were they
votes
like
would be
go to Iraq?
the votes would be split, or there wouldn't be enough information, or like if people wouldn't like it, then it'd be like, okay, well, what do I do next here? So basically I still had to do most of the heavy lifting from the creator point of view, and there was just a lot of opinions would just be very split, and it actually wouldn't be clear what to do. And then if it's just people voting on things, like honestly, if it's just people voting on basic things, that part did work. But when it came to like people also like adding new ideas or things like that, that was much more difficult to basically organize and all that. But
Yeah.
but the company that I'm talking to is trying to like integrate it with Discord in a way where it, like aggregates people's opinion much more, and it's easier to get, because also Discord is just a terrible medium for this. It's so hard to scroll through things and actually see a ton of data properly.
it's kind of amazing that it's become such the like ground zero for community because it's so bad in so many different ways. Like it's such a terrible product in a lot of, I mean, I guess like this, it's amazing because it's a network effect. I guess like it's hard. I mean, it's great. Obviously it's working. Like what the fuck do I know? So,
But it's also missing
at the
a
same
lot of
time,
things.
yeah, it's missing a lot. But the usernames, the whole username situation and how DMs work and like how, if you have more than like 5 Discords, it's just like,
And how disorganized
chaos.
it is and like hard to keep up with
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. But
I think there's maybe someone should create a different user interface. Does Discord have a full API? I feel like a startup would be create a better user interface on top of Discord,
yeah, I would like
for like
that.
power users who like have like a million Discords, kind of want the core, like I almost want like the announcements from the different Discords and like highlights and I don't know. Fuck. What,
And
don't listen
even
to me.
grouping together
My
like your
ideas- my
common
ideas are trash.
the discords that are with similar themes, and then just having the updates from them to check if you're more interested.
It
in
sounds like you
something.
guys should start a company together.
No way, no way. I just want
It's,
to. I'll
yeah.
invest in a company that
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
I just want all the mint dates for all the Discords. Just tell me when all the mint dates are, and then like get me
Yeah.
on the whitelist.
Yeah. Well, maybe somebody listening will build that, Justin, and then we can all
Yeah.
reach out to that
There we go.
anon. Invest.
That could be a startup. Is like you just have all the collect all the mint dates and like what you need to do to get on whitelists, and then sell that as a subscription for like $25 a month.
I mean, the kind of people who are
Alright.
willing to ape into these NFTs would definitely pay for something like that.
I'm running out of ideas here. Okay, I think we've covered it. What we came to talk about, right? Any final thoughts from you guys?
This was a fun discussion. I hope we could do it in person one of these days. When we're all
Let's
in
do it in
LA.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we're in LA. When are you going to LA, Lucy?
Coachella. If I
When's
go to this
Coachella?
concert,
Is
maybe
that in
I'll
April?
come sooner. Oh yeah, Coachella's in April.
What concert?
Oh, the one with
The
Chainsmokers, Griffin.
The one you just invited.
Sorry,
her
no,
to.
that one's in Vegas.
Well,
That one's
she
in
didn't invite
Vegas,
me.
not LA.
Yeah.
No.
I know.
I was
But
talking.
it's
I
close
just wanted
enough
to make
to
sure that
LA.
you knew it was in Vegas. That's all I wanted to say. It
I
wasn't
knew it was
like,
in
what are you
Vegas,
talking
yes.
about? It was it's in Vegas, not LA.
No, I know it's in Vegas, but like Vegas is close to LA, so I'd probably
Yeah,
make
yeah,
a
yeah.
stop to LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
All right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed the show, thank you for watching. If you didn't, you probably closed it by now. So, screw you. No, I'm
If you're
just
still
kidding.
watching,
We love you all.
make sure to hit a like and subscribe so that we could do more of these.
Wow, what a
Exactly.
professional.
This is the drill.
They're already here.
She's a-
They're at
she's a
the end of the
professional.
video. It's not hard, just give it a little click.
Boom. Exactly. That's the least you could do. Literally the least. Just move your finger like 3 inches and just hit like and subscribe. All right. Thanks, guys. And see you guys next time.